Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to my 3 takeaways from the Eric Zimmer episode that I just released this past Monday. That one was super fun for me because, as you guys know, I love behavioral change, and I love talking about behavioral change, and I love observing behavioral change in my fitness clients and trying to see what I can do to help them do the things that they know they should actually be doing. And Eric and I talked a lot about behavioral change, and I really love how we started talking about his personal experience when he was 24 years old. He was homeless. He was a heroin addict. And we started off talking about like how he got there and how the combination of consequences and hope is what sparked him to start to make a change in his life. And he talked about that combination of consequence and hope and why that's so important for a lot of people to start making a change in their life. Make sure you go back and listen to that episode. It was an awesome one. Make sure you check out his podcast called The One You Feed Podcast. It's an award-winning podcast. I've listened to a few episodes in preparation for his interview, and awesome show, super unique, and love the parable that he brings out to start off every single interview. And if you guys listen to the episode with him, I asked him the same question. So that was cool to get his take on that. But before I get into my takeaways, if you're not getting my Monday Motivation Trio 111 newsletter, you're missing out, because Monday mornings can be so hard sometimes. Sometimes waking up on a Monday morning is just dreadful to start the week, but not if you get my 111 Motivation Trio newsletter. To go to nickcarrier.com/111-newsletter to make sure that you get one motivational quote, one inspiring video, and one badass workout in your inbox every single Monday morning. It will set you up for success on Monday, and it will create momentum for the remainder of your week. Again, go to nickcarrier.com/111-newsletter to get it in your inbox every Monday morning. But with that being said, let's get right into my 3 takeaways. Number 1 is spend time in your discomfort. I think this one is the one that I've already started applying in my life. I love it when podcast guests give me takeaways that I can immediately start to apply and that really resonate with me. And for spending time in your discomfort, he talks about behavior change. The first thing is that sparks behavior change are the tactical things, and he gives a lot of examples in the episode. But the second thing is emotional regulation. And this is what's a little bit harder to talk about and give skills to be able to regulate your emotions better. But he talks about, if you are sitting at your desk, and he gave the example of he wants to write more. But if right before he starts to write, he pulls up Facebook, but then he takes the time to ask himself, okay, why did I just pull up Facebook? Spend time in the silence with yourself. Why did I pull up Facebook? What was the emotional trigger that sparked me to doing this? And once you can kind of determine what that emotional trigger is by spending time in that discomfort, you can start to notice it in other times of your day, other times of your week, so that you can be like, okay, this is the emotion that I'm currently experiencing. I need to make sure I either shed that emotion or I pick out why I had that emotion and still move forward because of it. Now, giving an example for me is when I drive in the car, oftentimes when I stop at a red light, I want to take out my phone and I want to pull up my email, or I want to pull up my social media or look at a text message. And so often now I try to spend time in my discomfort. I'm like, okay, why am I doing this? Why the heck am I pulling this up? I just embrace the music that is on right now and sing to the freaking song. And I realized that my emotion that I'm having is sometimes I fear not being productive enough throughout the entirety of the day. If you guys know me, I am all about productivity and all about getting stuff done. And so the fear of a lack of productivity always gets to me. So instead of pulling out my phone now, when I get at a red light, I'm like, okay, I'm going to spend time in this discomfort. I'm going to realize that this is the emotion that I'm having, but I'm going to just embrace the song that's on right now and sing and try to get my mind off of it. Takeaway number 2 is self-compassion is key to learning. I thought this one was super important because he talks about how if anybody is critical of themselves or has shame or is stressed out, that literally blocks the part of your brain that is capable of learning. And this is science. I forget a science that is researched by a professor out of the University of Texas, I believe. I can't remember her name at the moment, but there are so many people out there, and I see it in my clients and just everybody that I talk to, friends that are people that are self-critical. Because if you are critical of yourself, then you don't have the curiosity behind how you can make your situation better. And I talked about this a few weeks ago in regards to holding yourself accountable. When you hold yourself accountable to not following through with something, you can't be critical of yourself. That does nobody any good. But you can be curious as to why I didn't follow through. When you're curious, then you can come up with a solution, and then you can change your actions in order to flip that around the next time. So make sure that you have some level of self-compassion for yourself. Allow yourself to laugh. Allow yourself to smile. Allow yourself to screw up sometimes, and then be willing to learn from that. And your brain will be more receptive to learning because of your self-compassion. And the takeaway number 3 was increase the space between stimulus and response. And he brought up the quote from Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, where all man's power lies between stimulus and response. So many of us are so reactive. I know, because I used to be so reactive. I'm not saying I'm great at it now, but I'm definitely better at it now. But used to be times when my friends would say something, my family would say something, and then I would jump on them at the drop of a dime so quickly. But now I've gotten to be more curious as to, okay, why did they say that? Where was their motivation coming from behind saying that? And that gives me a different perspective. It allows me to see it through a different lens and then respond a little bit more nimbly based off of what I come up with. So again, guys, my 3 takeaways. Number 1 is spend time in your discomfort. When you start to do something against what you plan to do, ask yourself, what emotion am I experiencing right now that is causing me to do this? Embrace the emotion and sidestep it and do the thing that you plan to do. Takeaway number 2 is self-compassion is key to learning. Drop the self-criticism. Drop the self-stress. Drop the vitriol against yourself. Have some self-compassion. Be curious so that you can actually learn from the situations that you're going through. Takeaway number 3 is increase the space between stimulus and response. When somebody else says something to you and it's causing a trigger and you pause, stop, notice what's causing the trigger, try to see it from a different perspective, and then respond more nimbly because of it. I hope you guys enjoyed these 3 takeaways. I think these are so key for so many people. These are things that so many of us want to work on. Self-compassion, not being too reactive, doing things that we plan to do. These are such important things that we can work on a daily basis in order to get closer to the best version of ourselves. So make sure that you take note of these takeaways. Maybe write them down. Maybe write one action step that you're going to start doing now because of one of these 3 takeaways, or from maybe something else that Eric said in the interview. Because I promise you, if you apply one of these takeaways, if you apply anything that he said in the interview, you're going to get closer and closer to your best you.